Good evening, and welcome to our investors kopitiam on Sunday, where we're going to have Ask Us Anything on Sundays. Now, we are in the midst of preparing some contents throughout the week. So today is all about you asking us what you want to know, basically to get information so that you are able to make a well-informed investment decisions. So anything that's got to do with the stock market, lah, don't talk about us about any gossip or whatever, right? So or coronavirus. But what we're gonna do is to be able to answer you as much as possible. And if you have any questions, please just type it down. And if you have a specific question to any of us here, just write the question and who you want to address to. If not, we'll just try to answer whatever questions that you have in mind. All right. So for those who just joined us, if this is your first time, we are doing this on a daily basis. Today on Sunday, we actually normally what we have is we have an English version of Investors Kopitiam at 8 p.m. on a daily basis, and we have a Mandarin version of Investors Kopitiam at 9:15 p.m. So there's a 15 minutes break because normally the English one will end about 9 p.m. and we're going to start the Mandarin one at 9:15. But on Sundays, we will have a combined session, right? So we have Ricky Ng, who normally conducts the Mandarin version, is here with us today, and Peter is probably going to do some translation for Ricky, right? If he is unable to express it in English. You ready, Peter?
Huh?
All
My
right. Yeah. So, and for those who are new with us, if you want to get an access to Equities Tracker platform, which is going to be extended, which is going to be until April 30th, which is end of April, for you to get access to financial data of public listed companies in Bursa Malaysia, so that you can get more information for you to make wise investment decisions. Please WhatsApp us at the screen in front of you. The number there is 603-8408-2070. Now, that number may look like a landline number, but you can actually add the number to your phone and you can WhatsApp us because it's WhatsApp enabled. And we also actually have quite a number of free downloads for you to download certain information. And to know what those information are all about, just browse through our Facebook page. There will be quite a number of recorded videos because we have been doing this since last week. And you should be able to see all the videos that has been recorded on our live sessions. All right. So we'll speak to you in a short while. If you have any questions, please just type it in right now, and then we'll try to answer. But before we start, let me just give you a market update. Right, what's happened in the market in the past 1 week, just briefly, lah, before we get the session started. Right, so Faiz, can you get to the share my screen? Okay, I need my screen to be up. Faiz, is it there?
Benny, you sharing the correct screen now?
Yeah, I'll see the output up, and because I'm sharing my entire screen.
He said change your share.
Okay, hold on.
Change your share. Sorry guys. 2 seconds to get the share screen up.
Yeah, get your questions coming in, lah. If any questions that you want to direct to directly to Peter, Ricky, or Alvin, or myself, just ask the questions over there. Okay. In the meantime, guys, please share this with your friends. If you have any, if you think this can benefit your friends who wants to know about investing and ask questions and get more information, this is provided for free right now because we are in a lockdown for the next 1 month probably. So it's good to at least come and meet us in our investors copy time on a daily basis. All right. So it's 8 p.m. This is where you get to get more information about investing, about stocks, and also about other markets. Right? Are we okay?
Looks good.
All right.
Right.
Because I can't see it now. Okay, so let's take a look at this. What you're seeing is basically the market indices and some of the major commodities prices. Um, most of the markets has rebounded. You can look over there. You see the change on the weekly change there. KLCI is up about 3.1%. Shanghai has gone up 1%. Hong Kong 3%. But the biggest gainer is actually Japan, right? Has actually gone up 17% in the week. Right. Dow Jones has gone up nearly 13% in the week, while the other European markets has gone up about 7%. So most of the markets rebounded last week. Now, of course, it is not as it's not as big as the fall that we see in the past 2 weeks. But at least we do see some technical rebound over here. Right. But if you look at the last column, you see year to date. That means this is the performance since the beginning of this year. So most of them are still in the red. For example, like Dow is still down 24%. Germany's DAX index is down 24% from the beginning of the year until today. As big as the others. So markets are still in a bearish territory, unless you can have another 20-30% rebound in the market, then we probably see this bullish trend continue again. But for right now, we are still in a bearish trend. Technically, we are still in a bearish trend if you use a 200-day moving average, right? Most of the indices are still below the 200-day average. For KLCI,
Apparently the echo is quite bad. Can all the other speakers mute their mics while Benny is speaking? Thanks.
yep. Okay, is it better now? I hope it's better. Okay, so
Peter, you want to
sorry?
Peter, you want to mute your mic, Peter?
I'm not able to somehow.
Are we
Something
okay?
of the system. The mute is not working. But it sounds okay now. Don't worry.
Now it's good. Okay. All right, just let me go through with you a little bit. Again, most of the indices has gone up, has rebounded in the past 1 week, right? If you look at the second last column on the right, that is the weekly change. So we actually have a very strong rebound on the Japan Nikkei and the US Dow Jones Industrial Average. Each of them rose 17, and the other one is about 12 or nearly 13%. That's quite a big jump, right? The others has all increased. Europe and UK has gone up about between 6 to 8%. KLCI has gone up 3%. All right. And if you look at the last column on the right, that's the year-to-date change. That means the change since the beginning of this year until today. That's the percentage change. So all of them are in the negative territory now. Our market is down 15.5%. Whereas if you look at the more developed markets like US and Germany and UK, most of them are above 20%, right? So they are year to date, their performance is even bad than Malaysian market, because Malaysian market has already been bearish since 2018, right? As for commodities prices, oil prices has actually rebounded 3.6%, but still below the $30 mark. Year to date, if you look at the year to date change, oil prices has gone up about 60%. Now, isn't it quite ironic, right? I mean, fuel prices has gone down now at finally below 1 ringgit and 50 cents for raw 95, which was earlier promised by the previous government. But we are unable to go out and enjoy that fuel price. Now, gold prices has also pulled back, despite people thinking that most investors are actually rushing to go into a safer haven, which is gold in these times of uncertainty. But gold prices has actually pulled back, right? It has actually gone down 11% in a week after reaching a multi-year high of $1,600 an ounce. CPO prices has also rebounded 4% at 2,376 as of last Friday. So we probably could see some opportunities in palm oil prices. We do not know. You can ask those questions later on. All right. I'm just going to share with you for the KLCI. We actually did an analysis last Sunday. We have actually a topic called "Has the market bottomed out?" Right. So in order for KLCI to turn bullish, technically, okay, it has to go above 1,420 points. That's 1,420. Okay, that's where the short-term 30-day moving average is. So it has to overcome that level first. Then we probably go back to a bearish movement. A bullish trend again. But at this moment, we are still in a bearish trend. And by looking at the volatility that we see in the past few weeks, probably we're going to see a consolidation in the market this week. It's going to be continue to be volatile. We're going to see quite a big volatility in the market. And I'm looking at the index trading between 1,300 points and 1,380 points. All right, that's the range that I'm expecting the index to trade. And this week we are trying to also look at the stimulus packages, right? Because we over the world we have actually seen a lot of countries has also come up with stimulus packages to buffer the economic uncertainty right now. We're going to talk about that, so they do stay tuned with us on a daily basis. We'll tell you when this is going to be discussed until we get the data. All right. So now the good thing is, if you look at the coronavirus cases daily, we the lockdown that we see, the MCO that we are currently facing, has actually managed to prevent high rise in new cases. Right. Today itself, this is up to yesterday's data lah. So you see the curve there is not, at least it's not expanding, because last time people were comparing, right, between Italy and Malaysian, the exponential trend, but that did not happen. Malaysian cases has actually gone a little bit more. The curve has already gone down a little bit. That being said, we actually have 68 discharged today and 150. I also like to look at this trend because, again, I'm a chart guy, right? So I normally look at a chart. But looking at the performance in China and Korea, once we have the discharge numbers more than a new case number, then we're going to probably see it flattening out, right? And today, as of today, we have 68 discharge and 150 new cases. So it's still not there yet, but we are almost there. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, this should be able to come down. All right. So that's our update at this moment. Other than that, the Securities Commission and Bursa Malaysia has also tried to help participating organizations, the brokers, to come up with a few relax in some of its what we call rules lah, right? Like, for example, margin calls. Okay, instead of enforcing them, an automatic margin call is now negotiable. They are able to relax a bit on their margin as well, including more collaterals. That's what they introduced. Because right now, if you want to have margin on your shares, your collateral could be shares. But now they are trying to look at other collaterals to also invest in shares. So these are some of the few things that Bursa Malaysia is doing, okay, other than the stimulus package. So hopefully, all this will be able to support our market movement. All right. So that's my market update. Any to ask them right now, you have to key in those questions on the Facebook comment page. All right, so please key in there. Don't key in on a WhatsApp or whatsoever. You have to key in at the comment page on a Facebook Live. All right. Okay. Now, this question I think is not directed to anyone. If anyone can answer, can answer. This is from Wenji. With the situation in the US getting worse, is the market not anywhere near its low? Will the US 2 trillion stimulus make any positive impact like it used to be, or the stimulus has lost its magic? Anybody want to take that?
I think, am I on?
You got the questions?
Can you hear me? Can hear me? Okay, if you
anybody want to attempt try to answer the question?
Yeah. You all can hear me, huh? Hello?
Yeah, Peter, I can hear you. I'm not sure if Benny can hear you.
Can hear me, huh?
You want to go first?
Benny, can you hear me? Yeah. Benny, can you hear me, Benny?
Can't hear Peter.
Benny don't seem to be able to hear me.
Benny?
Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
But I can't hear Peter.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Peter?
I can hear Peter.
Ricky, can you hear me, Ricky?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, thanks. Okay, then I'll continue first.
I can't hear
I
him.
think if you look at it, this virus issue, it takes at least 4 days incubation. That's the reason why most of the lockdown is
To me,
on a
his
2 weeks
screen seems to
basis.
be frozen.
Right. So if you look at it, it is not really surprising that the US numbers are increasing, simply because they were a bit slow to react. If you look at Malaysia's case, as Benny mentioned, we are starting to see some control because we're already at the second week of the MCO.
Okay,
Unfortunately, I think the US
Alvin,
people are still taking it pretty lightly.
Alvin, could you take this for a while? Maybe let me get out of this room and go because I really see Peter freezing on my screen, so I can't see him.
No
I can't hear
problem.
him.
I'll be the moderator
No
while
problem,
you
no problem.
exit and come back in again.
Yeah, okay, thanks. I'll come in
Okay.
again.
All right.
Okay. So it is not surprising to have the US numbers increasing, or you're still going to see it increasing unless they really take drastic steps. I mean, that's number one. Number two, on your stimulus is, you see, what Benny mentioned, which I totally agree, need two things to happen. First is you need to see the number of new cases drop or stabilize. And second thing you need to happen is either they found a new vaccine that will really provide an end to this fear. The stimulus will only work when these two things happen. In the midst of these two things, the new cases are still increasing and people are still in lockdown. There's really nothing much the stimulus can do. The money is there, but the door is locked. So you really need to wait for the door is open, then only the money can do something about it. And more point is this time around, the stimulus is very different from just the stimulus of a pure QE. In our previous Kopi time session, the previous QE simply involved pumping money into the banks and hoping the bank pump into the economy. But you look at this time around, the stimulus involved a lot of putting cash directly back to people and the businesses, not via the banking channel. So this is a very different method of stimulus. I mean, it's not new, but it is very different from the 2008-09 that we see, where they just keep pumping liquidity through to the banks. So long and short, what I'm trying to say is you're not going to see any impact of stimulus now because businesses are still closed, doors are still closed. But once things are normalized, in the sense once the doors are open, when business resume, you're going to see all this money being put into use. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that after this thing, things will be hunky-dory, things will be still normal. Definitely not. Businesses that are not strong will definitely close, that's for sure. Good companies will continue to survive and get stronger out from this crisis. There's always casualties in after every crisis, right? If I were to tell you things will be business as usual after the crisis, I'm definitely lying to you. That won't be the case. Alvin, anything to add?
Yeah, actually, I think that's a good question. I think let's sort of fully agree with what Peter's saying. This QE is a very different from QE from the last QE or very recent QEs. Sorry to bring you back to economics. Maybe economics 101, macroeconomics 101. If you look at how GDP is calculated, it's basically they call it money velocity multiplied by your money supply. Right now, for GDP to go up, which is what you're asking about, will QE help? They are increasing money supply. But why is it very different from any other QE today? Is that the last QE, people could still go about, spend money, spend time, and you need all that to have economic activity. Right now, our transactions have just literally plummeted in the last week or so because what he really only spend on whatever's online or delivery stuff, you can't actually go to any very simple you can't go to a restaurant or bar to have a drink, okay, or even to a real kopitiam, not this kind of kopitiam, right, or kopi time, right? um there just isn't enough transactions that can happen. As long as the lockdown is happening, your GDP is bound to go down. You can increase as much money supply as possible, but your GDP is still not going to go up. And my thoughts is this, right? If you are going to, if you look at what's happening in the US is now number one in terms of cases. They've beaten China. Number two is actually not China anymore. It's actually Italy, right? The longer you see that lockdown is really only to delay the effect, right? Unfortunately, the whole world today, in order to put it very bluntly, this is I would consider World War III lah. Except the enemy now is invisible. It's a virus, right? And unless we can get consensus from all governments in the world to actually shut down for 3 months, only then we will see cases really dropping. Otherwise, you're just going to see it getting worse in the US. As you know, India just started 2 or 3 days ago. Indonesia has started already, right? But these economies are going to be hit so hard. I've read some economists writing that China is now on a V-shaped recovery. I'm probably not aligned with that notion, because how can China as itself do well when everyone around them is doing poorly, right? They need to trade and transact. This is basic economics, right? And we live in now a very globalized world. So I don't think I think money supply is one part of the equation. The transaction part, the velocity has to pick up. If that does not happen, unless that can happen, then we will be in the clear. That's for me. Mr. Ng, you wanna?
我过去已经
Mr. Ng, your one is mute. Can you
蛮
unmute?
多次的一种recession 的考验。那过去每一次的 recession 的时候的情况都跟这次不一样，所以这次几乎所有的国家给的那个 stimulus packages 都非常的大跟重要，而且很快就出来了。当然，我发现差不多有一半以上的钱其实是给人民钱的，另外一半是给企业去缓一下子的。但是我同意那个 Alvin 所讲的，就是现在人家都在家里，根本想花钱了花不了钱，所以 economy 怎么能够起来呢？所以呢，应该全世界把这个 COVID-19 搞掂了以后，那我们才有机会去花钱。假如大家还有钱的话，所以有钱的后面的事情还可以办，要不然的可能很多公司就要关门大吉了。那很多人会失去事业的那种情况会继续会发生，所以 recession 可能就拉了相对比较长了。彼得能不能帮我
Ricky's Sifu, what he mentioned was that this time around, he agreed that the stimulus is very different from the previous stimulus because this time involved real cash handout back to the economy. He also agreed that what you need to see is for this COVID issue to be resolved before you can see the impact of this stimulus start to work. Yeah. 对吗，师傅？可以啊，翻译的不错。I still pass as a translator. I can do a side job as a translator.
Okay, next question. This one comes from Nindita.
Back to you, Benny.
Sorry. Yeah, next question. Because remember we did a presentation of the length of bearish trend. I think it was on Alvin's slides. The average of bearish trend is normally about 14 months. This is from YouTube. Can I say that the worst part of bearish is not coming yet? That means we are the worst part of bearish trend is still not here yet.
I guess you're referring to my slides last night, right?
Yeah. I guess.
Where those who missed it, you can watch the replay. Basically, what we did was using Peter's work, we lined out all the recessions that happened in US. I also included the Asian financial crisis in Malaysia or in Asia, and there were 15 crises over about 90 years, right? And what we did was we did an average month long, how long it will take. We did a simple average of the 15, and it came out that the average was about 14 months. The IMF chief today just announced that we are in a recession. Yeah, I think a lot of people is already feeling that. So maybe that's just further confirmation. Uh, but if we are just starting and we use history as an example, now understand this, right? This is a very different recession because I don't know if you can put the word man-made. If you look at the last 2008, 2009, it was because of greed, right? All the mortgage-backed bonds that actually blew up, and they could fix it because they already had the vaccine. The vaccine was creating more money. Today we're fighting a very different recession here. We don't have a vaccine. Even if we have a vaccine today, we don't know how long it's going to take for it to be produced, number one, for it to be distributed globally. Yeah. Understand that we have over 7 billion humans on this planet, right? And this enemy that we're fighting, we don't actually have the answer yet. So if we find it tomorrow and you say everything could go back to normal, or if we say everyone locks down for 3 months, all countries in the world stop commerce for 3 months, and that is the solution, then we can start estimating. But I think it's a bit early to say how long this will take. Certainly, they've made announcements that Malaysia is going to start its first trials, or Malaysia has been chosen to trial the new vaccine. I really don't know, and that's the honest truth. Moving past data, most of the problems actually we knew the answer to. Right now, we are facing something where the global leaders are finding very hard. Right now, what we're doing in the lockdown is just to buy time. So potentially, have we reached the bottom yet? Unless they find a vaccine in the next month or so, uh, the longer we can't find a solution, the longer this is gonna take. Yeah, that's
If if
my.
if if, if I may add to Alvin's point, if you look at the great financial crisis, right? Although the stock market we felt the impact in 2008, but if you look at globally when they really pinpoint when that's the crisis actually starts, it will actually pointed out to 2007. So technically, if you look at World Bank, they are saying that actually the crisis in two actually started in 2007 and not 2008. And if you look at it, right, the first QE was only launched in November 2008. So there is quite close to a year of lag in terms of when the crisis actually started and when the quantitative easing initiative was implemented. But look at this time around, the lag is actually very, very small. Even before, just take if you take January as a measurement, right? In just barely 3 months, you already have not only the US bank, Federal Central Bank, but global central banks have already prepared all their stimulus packages. So what I'm trying to say, again, this time is very different from 2008 because 2008, between the start of the crisis to a stimulus, you have a 12-month lag time. This time around, there is very, very short lag time between the crisis or the recognition of a crisis and the initiative being taken by central banks. So this time is going to be quite different compared to the experience last time.
All right.
同样，2008年在我们的印象中还蛮清晰的，确实正如彼得所讲的，这一次确实全世界都被突然发生的东西感到很紧张，但是幸运的是，每一个国家都马上下重药来救。我认为这一次所有的国家做对了一件事情。然后在马来西亚，我在槟城这里呢，其实虽然是 lockdown，但是还有很多电子业、半导体的工业，其实还在腐烂之中。 那特别批准的，我想这个可能跟我们的工业这一方面，因为一个供应链有关系，我认为这个是好事，而且我认为电子业、半导体他们控制那个怎么讲呢？那个卫生这一方面，我相信比那个 hospital 可能还要严格，所以呢，这州政府批准他们继续在工作，这一点可能槟城这里的电子业确实还继续在工作，希望它的供应能够造成其他国家有供应的产品来继续生产下去。好，over。
What Ricky Sifu you're saying is he does agree that although this time around this crisis caught people by surprise, as in the COVID issue, but he said what is good thing this time is around the central banks actually reacted very fast this time. And it is a global initiative. It's not only about one central bank. The global central bank actually reacted very fast this time around. And in addition, Ricky Shifu was saying, if you look at Penang now, the reality is that a lot of electronics companies and factories are still working at full capacity, simply because they have a special approval from government to continue operation because of the critical nature of their business. And how they actually are allowed because their checking system for their workers are even more stringent than hospital. Before the workers can actually come in to actually start working, so they're actually being checked very stringently to ensure there's no issue. So he said he's looking at the E&E sector in Penang. It still looks pretty vibrant at the moment in Penang. 对吗，师傅？ Okay, okay, pass.
Right. Next question, guys. Now, please keep your answers short and sweet because we got a lot of questions here. We try to answer as many as possible.
Okay.
You know, if you want to add a little bit more, just add. You don't need to repeat a lot of things. Just go straight to the answer, please. Okay, now this is for Alvin, right? Will a cash-rich company be able to bounce back quicker compared to the rest in the time of recession? Based on your experience.
Alvin.
Wait, can you say that?
Direct-
Sorry, I missed that.
Will a cash-rich company, we talk about cash-rich is able to survive in this kind of crisis, right? But
Yeah.
are they the ones that's going to rebound much faster as compared with the rest of the other stocks in this time, this kind of time?
Okay, when I mention cash rich, I'm mentioning companies that can survive the storm, right? Will they be the first? From my experience, not necessarily be the first. Also will be the fastest, right? But where you're investing is if you want safety in the times of crisis today, then that is more of the idea of why I'm still looking for net cash companies rather than will they be the first to rebound, which means your money is still safe. Short.
All right, thanks. Now this is for all. At this kind of time, what will be your portfolio asset location in terms of cash and your stock holdings? Right now,
You're asking who? Alvin, right?
for all, I mean, whoever has a portfolio, what is your portfolio now? That's what it's asking. Do you have more cash or still all the way, still all stock?
I'm not a practitioner of we call it. I mean, people call it tactical asset allocation. Actually, that sounds sophisticated, but in a very layman term, between your cash holding level, I always believe maintaining at 90% at all times, rather than try to predict where the market is going to be. I would prefer staying fully invested as the strategy.
Okay, anyone else?
I'm the same. Fully invested, rebalance if needed to, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a market timer. I cannot predict the future, so we still buy stock on fundamentals, but I don't believe in market timing.
All right, Ricky, you want to add?
OK，我目前的 cash 远远大过我的股票。那其实这不是目前，其实从去年开始，我已经开始变 cash，因为我觉得市场的稳定性不是很好。 现在我是很想进去，但是我觉得我还有时间，因为 recession 的时间不可能1-2个月就结束，所以呢，我记得2007年，虽然从很快的我们的 index 掉下来，中间还是有 rebound 的机会，然后又再掉下来，所以我们从第一天开始一直在讲说，也许我们的底部还没有那个。但我从那是从index 这方面我不是我的强项，但是我觉得整个 industry 整个商业还没有稳定之前呢，我觉得我还可以等一阵子，然后才开始去进入股票市场。
What 𝗜𝘃𝐃𝐶𝐿𝐶 is saying is that he has quite a lot of cash now. It's not due to recently, but since last year he's already started to raise quite a lot of cash, because his point of view that time was he was saying that the market is a bit unstable. Will he start to deploy his cash now? He was saying not yet. He's still waiting for, he still see further uncertainties. So he'll prefer to wait for more clarities before he'll start to deploy his cash. Okay, man? Yeah. Sorry, I just saw some question about the point raised by 𝗜𝘃𝐃𝐶 just now about this the E&E operating at full capacity. I saw a lot of questions now. I think we need to clarify. It is true that they are not operating, they are operating at 50 or 30% of the time. But what we're trying to say is even at 30 to 50% of the time, there are still a lot of activities going on. Because by cutting off 50%, you're really working harder to actually meet the orders that is given to you. So that's what we meant by looking at full capacity. Yeah. So I hope that clarifies a lot of the question about that. 对吗，师傅？
就是这个意思。
对呀。
Can I add that EP is also working at full capacity for all our shareholders out there? On Sunday we also
You are working now.
100%.
It's a Sunday night. It's a Sunday night.
Right.
Right. Now I know we have been talking a lot about the semiconductor sector, right? Even in the past few days. There's one question here. I think a lot of people wants to know how to really make as much money as fast as possible in this time of crisis. Because people hear a lot of stories about people getting really rich very fast during times of crisis. I think the question here basically asks from, this is actually from 𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃. At this current times, if you are in a recession already, what sector should we focus? Should we focus just on the semiconductor sector, or should you look at something else?
I think there's multiple answers to his question. The first question is how to get rich very fast. There's very few obvious options. It's either Genting, Magnum, Toto, or 𝗃𝗧𝗧𝗧. That is the
But they are close, like, you buy also.
Magnum 40, not the ice cream, right?
I don't even buy that shares. I mean, going.
But even the lottery now is a shop.
No, I mean, Genting also closed.
Online.
So long and short, no option for you.
I think maybe I just
honestly,
I think all sectors are down, right? So really, high risk, low risk, medium risk. Where is your risk level at? Right? I don't think there's one specific particular sector that is going to recover fast. Now, I think there were some misconceptions as well. Some people are saying that pharma companies and glove companies will do really well. Okay, I think gloves, yes, they will do really well at this point. But just because pharma is in health doesn't mean they're doing well. Let me give you a situation on the ground. How pharma companies, they actually have a portfolio of drugs, right? So you always see the reps going to see doctors. Now, let me tell you now, at this point in the lockdown in Malaysia specifically, no doctors want to see any reps. Okay. So in fact, pharma sales will also be down, right? Unless your pharma business purely only sell COVID-19 test kit, then you'll do very well. Okay. But we're not seeing that. So just to give you an idea, all sectors are actually affected.
Yeah. Maybe if there's enough requests, we may do one special one on the pharma sector. But Yeah, I
Yeah, why
mean,
not?
we
Why not?
can, if there's enough requests. But again, point back to the fundamental of investment, right? Look, as Alvin mentioned, everything is down, right? So, but what you're betting on is the recovery. So, which sector can actually recover subsequently when things normalize? This is where you should be looking at, right? Sorry, Ricky 师傅，你的不好意思啊
呀，我认为，
，Ricky 师傅啊，
我在讲，OK，那其实我们昨天 Alvin 一直强调说，recession 的 period 过去的历史最短的是6个月，平均的是1年2个月，14个月。所以你说什么时候是最适当进场呢？其实我认为那个是看你对哪一个行业的重点。假如说你认为，呃，我和最近的那种科技行业，彼得最喜欢的行业之一，呃，那肯定是我认为不管时间拉多久，最后5G 有关系、汽车有关系的所有电子业的行业，肯定要呃重新又蹦起来的，重新兴起来的啊，复兴起来的，只是时间多久。最后一旦起来了以后，可能它会延续很多年，所以那就是说，为什么我刚才讲不急着马上进去买，因为你钱用光了，后面有机会的时候，你钱就没有了。我觉得，你即使要买呢，那就逐步的买一点，然后再观察，因为我们永远最低有6个月的时间嘛。假如历史是重演的话，
what Ricky Sifu is saying, based on what Alvin presented yesterday, the average recession is for a period of around 14 months. As of where you all should enter, it really depends on the industry. What Ricky Sifu he believes is that things related to 5G and automobile, once this COVID issue is resolved, you are definitely going to see a boom in the 5G related and auto related sectors. But then he said, of course, there's no need to rush to buy now. I said, let's wait. He said, on average, it may take another 6 months before things bottom up. So if you really want to buy, you can buy a bit and then continue to monitor the situation and average down subsequently. Correct? Okay, I pass. Okay.
All right. Now, before we go to the next question, for those who have joined us and still haven't get a free access to EquitiesTracker platform until April 30th, which is end of April, please do WhatsApp us at this number. Got a number on your screen at 603-8408-2070 for you to get access or to request for access of ET platform, and also download some of the information that we have installed for the previous recording session. So please do WhatsApp us at that number. Now, there's a question here talk about oil prices. Will it go up higher or lower? Now, we're gonna have a technical session tomorrow, which I'll be doing. I know that Alvin is not a firm believer or not a believer of timing, but I'm using timing. So
Timing markets from a portfolio perspective. I'm a believer of timing in stocks. Yes.
yeah, so I'm not a true blue value investor lah. I call myself an active investor, a little bit more active. Anyways, so if you want to know more about, if you want to get an opinion towards how the chart looks like on the stocks that you're investing or trading, just come and join us tomorrow. We also have Derek Tan to join us tomorrow as well, because he was also a technical analysis and a cycle analysis. Basically, price and cycle is about the same, like price and time. So join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. as well. All right. Now, next one. Alvin, I think this is directed to you by Fang Heng. With the next quarterly financial announcements, you know that it's not going to be good lah for most companies, right? Do you think after the quarterly reports, if it's bad, will it drive the share prices even lower?
Uh, I think the quarterly results to be negative is quite expected. I don't think any a company that is going to report fantastic ones, except for gloves, rubber gloves specifically, or rubber glove sector. I think they are. It really depends more on the environment. I think this will already have been factored in. So it depends on the fear during the. And just so you guys know, Bursa has announced that they've given 1 month extension for audited financial statements. Yeah. So which means if you end on 31st December, technically you're supposed to submit it by 31st March. Sorry, yeah, 30th April. That now has been pushed back to May, right? So 30-day extension. But it doesn't affect quarterlies.
All right. Now, question I think to all. This one I can't answer because I don't have foreign portfolio stocks. Right. So, do you think it's a good time to actually look into foreign stocks into your portfolio?
I think
Anyone?
when you talk about foreign, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can. I think when you talk about foreign stock, it really depends on which country you're talking about, right? If you're common foreign stock, you're talking about the US market. And then it also, again, depending on which company you're looking at. You see, opportunity comes when, say, for instance, what is the level of the profit affected versus how much the share price has dropped. Take, for instance, if you expect due to this COVID issue, the profit of this company will drop 30%. But the reality is the share has already fallen 50%. Then definitely something you are worth to look at. But if, for instance, you expect the profit to fall 30%, but so far the correction, the share price only fall about 20%, then definitely not something you look at. So what I'm trying to say is, do not look at stock investing as a very, whether it's geographical basis or is it industry basis. Ultimately, for stock investment, it's very company specific, regardless of which country you're looking at. Yeah.
All right. Now, there's a question here by Peter Law. I think he has also tuned in to a session when we had Derek Tan over, right? Because Derek Tan suggested that the bear is not quite here yet, right? But when we talk about this during our whether the market has bottomed out session last Sunday, we seem to have a conflicting opinion lah with what Derek has to say. So, anybody wants to give any comment on this?
I, I think every analyst and every researchers, they will have their own perspective on how they look at things. Yeah, so everybody have their own reasoning for it. Ultimately, it really depends on how the market reacts subsequently. Say for instance, a very good example, we may say that we conclude, yes, the market there is further downside risk. But what if suddenly, say for instance, for some reason tomorrow Japan found a vaccine to COVID? That will totally reverse the whole perception, reverse the whole trend of things. So whatever research we're looking at, see that there are thousands and thousands of indicators, thousands and thousands of market perspective, thousands and thousands of data. And every analyst, every researcher, they have their own preferred angles, data to look at, and therefore form their own different conclusion. Right? So it's not about who is wrong or who is right. So it's just like what is the fundamental basis for them to derive their conclusion. But bear in mind, ultimately, whoever is wrong or right, it's hard to say because there are still a lot of black swan events that may happen. Like for instance, like I mentioned, if suddenly now Japan found a cure to COVID, then all those fear, all the uncertainties will just be blown by the wind and go see a very totally tomorrow in that sense. I mean, that's my view. I'm not sure what Alvin and Vicky Sifu will have to say.
Yeah, I mean, for me also, the market is full of opinions, lah, right? I think we also need to look at information. And for me, most importantly, is first of all, what's your investment or trading objective, lah, right? We use different information for different purposes. So you have to be very clear. I mean, if you're a long-term value investor, you really have to hear advice from those who actually done it or use value investing principles. But if you're a trader, then of course, if you are looking for short-term profits, you're looking for more excitement, then value investing may not be the ideal technique or a tool. So it really depends on what you want. That's for me, because I love more excitement. That's why I do some trading as well. Ricky or Elvin, you want to add?
Yeah. Uh,
Okay, so now let's go to the next one. I also want to add on to a little bit about foreign shares. You know, Malaysia, actually in Bursa Malaysia now you actually have REITs, right? You have REITs that's got a exposure in US and also China markets, right? I think Alvin has mentioned this earlier. We have this FANG Plus index, where you are able to expose yourself with FANG stocks, which all you know the Facebook, the Amazon, and Google, and so on. You know, you can actually just try first, at least get a feeling of the US market by investing in REITs, because you're not buying one stocks or two stocks. You're buying a basket which is not as volatile as buying a single stock. So you may want to try out, right? You know, whether it's a US REIT or Chinese REIT, because there'll be many other REITs that's going to come in the market soon. And this is how you can actually invest in these markets without going there to open accounts. You can actually do it right here. So that's just for you to go and get more information. Um,
Benny,
Now,
I think
right now, we have a
Mr. Ng
question.
wanted to say something just now. I think he was responding. I think Mr. Ng, there was a bit of a lag. So Mr. Ng wanted to say something just now.
Oh, okay, Mr. You have something to say?
okay. I almost forget what I wanted to say. okay, during our 我在教书的过程之中，常常讲过一句话，就是说，专家的话，包括老师的话，不要随便听。那既然我是教书的老师，那我的话不能听，那他干嘛来听我的课？那我的最后的答案，你要听自己的话。那意思的就是说，我们每一个人的思想跟投资的方法操作不一样，所以你自己要去学习，去 build up 你自己的一个独特的去判断。像彼得与彼得的方法，我有我的方法 ，Alvin 有 Alvin 的 ，Benny 你有你的方法。所以呢，你最重要的是不要看人家做什么，你就按他的方法去投。我觉得常常会碰钉子的。那自己 build out 你自己想要的方法，然后不够再继续学习，因为这是一个 life skill 的东西，所以我们继续学习，你就磨出你自己的方法。那别的话你是参考，不要听全部。好 ，over to Peter。
Oh, I got job to do. Okay, what Ricky Sifu is saying is that every person, every investors have their own style. So his advice to investors is you need to develop your own style. And then if you find that your style is not sufficient or the knowledge is sufficient, then continue to learn other various knowledge to actually complement your own style. There is no one fixed style. I mean, Ricky will have his own style. Alvin will have his own style. Ben, your style. So you should also come up with your own style and build up that knowledge to actually create your own knowledge base and your own style. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Now, question from Clayton. Hi. With people needing more hard cash in the future because of this crisis, right? This is quite direct, lah. Will Aeon Credit benefit from this? Again, this is not an advice to buy or sell. This is basically our opinion of what's going to happen. So, anyone has any thoughts on this?
If you look at Aeon Credit, what originally most of their business is actually from motorbike hire purchase, right? Those motorbikes where you can't really get proper hire purchase from your financial institution. That is where Aeon Credit comes about. And 2-3 years ago, I think more than 2 years ago, they are starting to push more on their credit cards. For those who are Aeon shoppers, you know they have this Aeon credit card on that basis. Well, will they do better if you look at it? Give it a sense. There was one period where motorcycle sales did very, very well. Was when oil price hit $110 per barrel. If you remember during the Bala administration. So at that time what happened was everybody switched to driving motorbikes. So that time bikes did very well. And financing people like Aeon Credit will do very, very well. Yeah. But if generally market sentiment is weak, yes, people may need hard cash, but I don't think that will be a big driver to the numbers, because it may offset the weaker consumption on the credit card, offset the higher personal loan, So net is very hard to gauge where it will go. I mean, that's how I look at it. Alvin, over to you.
Yeah, I think for Young Credit, this is a stock that I follow as well. Actually, they on top of the motorbike personal loan, they also started on second-hand hire purchase, so second-hand cars hire purchase as well. I think for Young Credit, I think it's in my view, if unemployment rate goes up, they will definitely be affected because they are business to consumer loans, right? So they are very much targeting B40, M40, which means that if these sectors or this range of unemployment rate goes up, now remember unemployment rate will go up, but it won't go up all the same for all M40, B40 or T20, right? It won't be the same level. So that is the sector. That is the number you need to look out for because unemployment is, in my opinion, likely going to go up.
This is not a recommendation to sell. 𝗂𝐿𝐿.
Yeah, we have to wait for the financial reports to come and really see the figures lah. Now next question from Richard Wong. Can buy Maybank?
I think Ricky want to say something.
Sorry.
I think Ricky want to say something.
Okay. Sorry, I can't really hear Ricky. Yeah, go on, Ricky.
有东西讲吗，师傅？
没有，你会错意了。
Ricky 我们听不到。听到先行。
我没有发表意见。
没有发表意见。Okay, Ricky got no comment. Okay, sorry.
All right. Okay, so this from Richard Wong. Can buy Maybank at ringgit and below? I think if it's ringgit and below, I will sell my wife, I will sell my house, I'll sell every single thing that I have, cash out and just buy Maybank.
Is your wife behind you? Are you sure your wife is not behind you?
She's not watching now today.
Alvin, you want to support that motion?
Your wife is at the back
You want to
now.
support motion? If Maybank for ringgit, you sell your wife and sell your house to buy Maybank. You want to support that motion?
Yeah. I think better not if you want to see me tomorrow.
Benny supported, Ricky supported.
Okay, I mean, if it does go there, right? Okay, now next question. Ken Yap, you asking about oil and gas prices and so on. Join us tomorrow because we will have Derek Tan joining us as well. He has also done some extensive research on commodities prices. So bring that question tomorrow at 8 p.m. Right? We want to hear from you again. Why has gold prices dropped? Okay, anybody want to attempt to answer that? Because he went 1,006 was the high of the year, and also I think a 10-year high, and it pulled back to 1,004 again. Because everybody thought, I think there was a rush, everybody trying to get gold, but instead of going up, the price came down.
Gold.
Ricky Sifu.
I never buy gold before. And beside my married time only.
I also never buy gold before, so I cannot comment.
I guess fear and fear is what is driving the sentiments very, very fast. Especially with all the information technology, all the as I used to mention, 10 years ago, the problem for investors is you lack of information. The biggest challenge investors face now is too many information until you don't know which one to filter off. So the volatility of all these prices are actually mainly driven by the dip and the fee from the basics. If you know what is the long-term trend of gold, the best person to ask is to join this session with Derek's session to actually look at the technicalities of the gold prices.
Yeah, he'll be with us tomorrow at 8 p.m. So make sure you join us at 8 p.m. tomorrow here on EquitiesTracker Facebook. So and our investors Kopitiam. So join us tomorrow. He'll be here. Next question. Okay, this is actually to Benny and Peter, but Benny can only answer this tomorrow. Maybe Peter want to answer this first. Semiconductor stock has dropped by 40 to 60%. and some like Penta, Frontcan, Dufu, UWC has recovered 50 to 70% from the low that we see. What do you think? What makes this company rebound more than the others? So it's Penta Master, Frontcan, Dufu, UWC. You want to give any comment, Peter? Sorry, is Peter still with us?
I think I don't see him moving, so I don't think so.
I don't see him moving also.
So you want to go to the next question then? Or what
Okay.
you-
Okay, I'm not sure whether I mean, for me, I don't really look much on the banking sector, but this Stephen Patrick wants an opinion on the current banking sector performing loan. Do you have any figures on the performing loans, Alvin?
Uh, I don't have it on me right now, but I remember I did it before. The question was how will this affect non-performing loans?
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
how?
because banks are giving dividends, so if there's increase in NPLs or non-performing loans, will they be sustainable in providing dividends? That's what I'm saying.
I think to save this more for the stimulus analysis that we're gonna do later this week. But a very short answer is that what part of the 250 billion package that the Prime Minister has announced, the real cash injection has really only been 25 billion, right? A bulk of it, 100 billion and about 40 billion or 150 billion thereabout, is actually EPF and also the deferment of the moratorium, right? In a sense, this is a cash flow situation. So if everyone stops paying the banks for 6 months, I mean, it's a very clear cash flow situation. We don't see them likely. I don't see them likely to actually pay dividends as well. Now we also have to pay special attention to two things, right? In the stimulus package announced, they mentioned SMEs and one part for the bigger companies where loan amount of $20 million, right? If you look at
Hello?
the aspect of that budget, you got to look at the exclusion clause. So, which means that that means all our foreign MNCs are actually excluded from that loan package, right? So not only if you look at the MNCs that will be affected, not only are we expecting banks likely to lower dividends, I think across the board all sectors will, maybe say for glove stocks. Um, you also got to watch out for the listed MNCs as well, where they are actually not getting any aid. So that's important as well.
Okay, yeah, nobody do the translation. Peter is not there. Never
Peter,
mind.
no,
Is Peter there?
Peter is still
no,
not around.
No, never mind. I think non-performing loan definitely will happen will be increased because during this recession period, definitely there are numbers of people either unemployment purpose, due to the unemployment or the business maybe only balance half or running only half of the capacity, or even some of the company maybe close down. So that definitely will create some of the NPL to the bank. How serious that you have to wait and see because too early to say now. Okay, over.
All right. Okay, we go to the next question. This is by Haichuan. Yeah, I mean, if the vaccine just come, I think the most powerful indicator will be vaccine. I think once the vaccine is up, then you will have this health crisis will be over, and we're probably going to recover much faster. That's what I think I said earlier as well. Next question is from Shermin. Talks about cashless payments, right? Counted like revenue. Will they benefit? Will they benefit from this current situation?
I think I think the word cashless is quite just because we are away, therefore we use cashless. I don't think that is the case. If you look at how revenue generates its business model, is actually those physical terminals at restaurants, bars, business operations. But if all transactions come down, they will likely be affected as well. So I don't see them as in a very unique situation where they are protected. I tell you one guy, the guys that actually are still very steady, very defensive are the telco stocks, because we can't be here speaking to you if Time, TM, Axiata, DG are not functioning, and we all still have to pay internet bills, right? So um, that's probably more of the case, yeah.
Yeah, but at least we're gonna have free internet for the next 6 months, isn't it? So that will probably affect their business as well.
I don't know if the government's actually subsidizing it. So if it's a direct subsidy, then their businesses also will not be affected.
All right. So yeah, because I think revenue business model is also getting a certain percentage of the transaction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because if you bring a credit card and swipe it right on that terminal, if no restaurants are open, unless it's just pure online. Actually, maybe to add to that, the telcos are defensive, but remember this: those guys that actually have subscribers to corporate subscribers. If we actually see a lot of SMEs or businesses close down, their revenue will also be affected. So I stand corrected.
All right. Now, this is from Aswin Singh. What's your view on the oil and gas sector right now, considering the crude oil drop and there's still no signs of rebound? Just asking about the oil and gas sector. I mean, if you ask me, it's not one of the sector that should be in your watch list right now, lah. I think the recovery is going to be quite long, considering the price of oil has actually been low already. Not only just currently, but it has been low for quite some time now. When you talk about the average prices, so that's just my thing. It's not going to be on my watch list anytime soon. What about you, Alvin?
Okay, when you talk about oil and gas, it's very much a supply and demand thing. Okay, just to give you guys an idea, if you look at 2015, where oil prices came down drastically, of course 2008 as well. 2015 was very significant because for the first time, US became the largest producer of oil in the world, crude oil. Yeah? And they are still the number one exporter today because of the massive investment in shale oil. And if you look at what we're having today, it is not the same as what happened 15. 2020 today, 2020 is a demand issue, right? Because everything is shutting down around the world globally. 40% of usage of oil is on transportation. So if you have Asia shutting down for 6 months, that's some demand gone. You actually have some airlines shutting down as well or canceling flights, right? On top of that, passenger cars, if you're stuck at home, you're not using any fuel, right? So this is a demand situation. Of course, when the economy picks back up, we expect the demand to come back up. So I don't think oil has been replaced per se. But when you look at these situations, typically in a demand or supply issue, it's always the guys that are in storage that make money, right? They still do make money because they are still producing oil. So if you like to find out which stock actually does a lot of storage in oil, maybe stay tuned for another session. Okay, I'll tell you about that.
好，
Ricky, you have anything to add?
我同意Alvin 所讲的一些，特别是 oil and gas storage 的那一些高的，当然 refinery 也有分到一点好处啦。对于这个 oil and gas 的价格，其实最近的价格掉得很厉害，那是因为他们几个国家之间在那个价格上做一些战争策略的一种对付。那过程之中，他们能够顶多久？因为前几天我在我们的 Kopi 店9点的 Kopi 档的时候，我也提起过 oil and gas 的事情，就是说 oil and gas 是大家都要用的一必须要用的一些 material。那在世界上有很多国家是要靠油吃饭的，所以呢，这种价格的战争，我相信哪个国家都不会顶得太久所以呢，假以时日，他们一定要谈和。结果价格假如能够再恢复正常，加上 COVID 已经 OK 了，那demand已经开始来的话，那这个油的价格肯定会不是现在这种情况。我不知道彼得听到我讲话吗？
sorry 因为刚才我的 internet connection 一直断掉刚刚恢复，不好意思
So,
抱歉。
Okay. Only translate for those people can understand Mandarin.
All right. There's a question about AirAsia. Okay, of course, the question says whether they can survive throughout this crisis. I mean, of course, airlines are the ones that most affected a lot. Do you think AirAsia is able to come out of this?
I guess the question for me, right?
Yeah.
You know, funny that we talk about airlines because I got one screen to share right now. It's actually a screen to share out of concern. It also gives you a context, right? So Faiz, you can go to my share screen. Let me just click refresh on that and I get you guys on share screen. Now, what I'm sharing with you right now is actually a website. It's a free website. It's called flightradar24.com. I have no association with them, but I got this from a Facebook post recently, and I thought it was really interesting to share. Why this screen is scary? Let me explain to you why it's scary. So I'm going to show you, right? So all the yellow planes you see right now are planes currently in the air. They are flying. And this is where Malaysia is, right? So if I can put here, this is where Malaysia is. So I'm going to zoom out to just give you guys an idea how active airlines are still today. If I can zoom out again, so you can see we are in the night time, and of course in this side of the world, it's all UK and everyone. This is all still. So I'm getting some feedback. Okay, so you actually can see how many planes there are in the world, right? How many planes there are flying currently, okay? Now, but what this screen doesn't show you is just how many passengers there are there, okay? Why I say this image is very scary is because unless they can find a cure or a vaccine for this virus, looking at the current scenario, it's probably going to get worse, right? No one, if you're trying to stop the spread of virus, the airlines are doing a fantastic job spreading it in a sense, right? Because or air travel generally, all right, and this is excluding any shipping lines, yeah. So you can imagine those cruise ships that have made the earlier headlines, right? So this is how the disease has spread globally, right, through travel. But my question here is yes, I think Asia, like I said previously, is in my opinion probably too big to fail. Not only do they create a lot of jobs, they just don't create a lot of jobs in Malaysia. They are also in 5 countries. I don't think, I think now they're probably regretting paying out the 90-cent dividend because the extra cash would have come in very handy at this point in time. They are too big to fail, just like very big companies. I believe if you look at 2008, Ford and GM and all those guys had to renegotiate with the banks, right? Because once you get out of the crisis, how else are we going to travel? From here to say Bali or to let's say Phuket or anywhere, right? So low cost travel will still be there. I think they will have to find a solution to it. And what they've done is already grounded their planes for 6 months. So we're probably going to see quite a fair bit of voluntary or unemployment going to happen in that sector. But as soon as they can find that cure and confidence comes back, I believe people will still, actually, we don't have a choice, but we'll still fly again.
All right. Okay, I think we only have time for one last question. Now, if you guys have any questions, we apologize if we're unable to answer all the questions because we still see questions coming in. But please continue to join us on a daily basis. We'll be here. Again, tomorrow we're going to talk on a technical analysis perspective. So if you have any charts that you want us to look at, myself and Derek will be there tomorrow at 8 p.m. And also the Mandarin session will go on tomorrow as well at 9:15 p.m. So you can also reconnect with Ricky if you want to tomorrow night. So do join us and do join us on a daily basis. If you have any questions, again, if your questions are left unanswered, please bring it up again. We apologize we can't answer them today. We answered those who have actually asked earlier. So just bring those questions again in our next Investors Kopitiam session. All right. Before we go for a last question, if you have not subscribed to our platform or EquitiesTracker platform, please do WhatsApp us at this number 603-8408-2070, which is on your screen right now. Just WhatsApp. That's a WhatsApp number. Actually, you can actually WhatsApp, and from there you should be able to select if you want to choose to have a free access up to April 30th on the AT platform. And also you can download some of the information that we actually prepared for you guys. If you don't know what are those information are all about, please do watch our previous recording or previous live recordings on our Facebook page. All right. So last question. I think we have all gone through the last crisis in 2008, right? What were your strategy then, and can it be applied today? Did you get a question?
No, can you repeat your question? Many.
We lost Peter again. What was the question again, Benny?
Yeah, we all have gone through 2008, right? There was a subprime mortgage crisis, which led to a global financial crisis. What did you do then, which can be applied today?
Very short answer. Stay calm. Right? Don't panic. Just like in all recessions I mentioned yesterday, it's really what you do in times like this is rather than what you do rather than what you don't do, right? So really what you need to do, if you haven't started investing, I would take action and start preparing. I'm not asking you guys to buy stocks tomorrow, or I'm not even asking you to buy stocks, but start preparing. Do you have your broking account? Have you got your username and password? Maybe you have a very old reminder that you may have not spoken to many years. Activate all that and get prepared, right? So when it does come, or when prices get cheaper, you are able to execute on some of those things, right?
OK， Peter 在了吗？
有，不好意思。
对，针对这个问题啊，其实2008年我还不懂得什么叫 value investing。我在2009年，接近2010年的时候，才去 EquitiesTracker 学习什么叫做 value investing。所以呢，是因为有学习这个 life skill， 我觉得我从ET学到很多学问，然后也刚才讲了，我用我的方式把它磨进我的投资的方法。所以呢，我今天也要感谢 Alvin， 因为当初他也是其中一个我的老师。谢谢。又不见了。
I think we lost Peter. Benny,
You're coming back.
So sorry, I can't really
Sorry.
understand. I hope you guys are better than us able
Sorry.
to
My
understand.
my internet having some problem there. I keep getting disconnected.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think like Alvin said, right, it depends on what kind of level of investor you are. If you're already a seasoned investor, it's probably really a good time to have a trading plan or a strategy to start building your portfolio. You really need to have a plan. Traders as well. Market is still going to be volatile, I think, because normally when you have steep fall like this, I mean, we don't even see this kind of fall in 2008, right? When it's short period of time, the market came down really, really steeply. So we're probably going to expect a volatile market is going to be volatile for sure, right? So I want to find basically times when the market starts to quiet down a little bit, try to find its way. Then I think for me, that's probably a good time to really start to implement and start to build a portfolio. But right now, you need to educate yourself and need to get more information, and that's what we are doing today, right? Because we try to give you as much information for you as possible, so that you are able to become a well-informed investor. And once you get all this information, then you probably can start looking at opportunities, right? So please do join us on a daily basis. We'll be here again every single day. The English session will be at 8 p.m. The Mandarin session will be at 9:15 p.m. So for tomorrow, you'll see, Ricky again at the Mandarin session, and I think Derek will also be on the Mandarin session tomorrow, because we're supposed to have one on Friday, but it was because of the internet, because it's a technical problem, we have to actually postpone it to Monday. That's for the Mandarin session. And tomorrow will be a technical session for the English session at 8 p.m. Which, if you have any stocks that you want to look at based on the charting or technical analysis perspective, Derek and I will be able to assist you and try to look at the chart and see what the chart says about the stock that you want. All right. Alvin, do you have any other thing that you want to share with our viewers?
Thank you, Mr. Ng, for your comments. I'm very humbled by what you just said. Thank you. Because I didn't understand what you were saying before. I think we're gonna keep these sessions. We're gonna keep you guys informed, right? As informed as possible. Next week, Tuesday night. Okay, please mark your calendar. Tuesday night, we have another CEO that's coming on board. And it's going to be very interesting. Okay, we will announce it tomorrow after you guys tune in. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. we have another interesting session. A CEO of the world's largest something. Okay, I'm not going to fill it. The world's largest. Okay, so they are the world's largest at what they do. He's coming on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Stay tuned. Please share. If you guys like what we're doing, please share and tag your friends, because good things should be shared. We are committed to be with you throughout this MCO. Initially 14 days, now extended to 1 month, right? Okay. But we are committed to be here. Otherwise, if you guys haven't set up an account yet, please like and share our page. I think Benny will talk about that soon, right?
Yeah, please do like our page, because once you like our page, then whatever announcement that we have, you'll be able to get that alert or notification, right? Whenever we go live or whenever we have something to post. Alvin has just mentioned we have really someone special coming on Tuesday, so make sure you share this as much as possible to your friends, so that they be able to access this, because this is an opportunity that not many people will be able to get. Where can you actually meet CEOs right now? Especially right now, we are in a lockdown, right? The only time we can meet them is actually through online, and of course we are dedicated, because we have been around. For those who are still who do not know us, we are a 40-year-old company. In fact, 41 or 42 years old, right? We have been providing financial data for public listed companies for the past 40 years. We have done investor education for the past more than 10 years. And if you want to have an access to our EquitiesTracker platform, we are giving out an access for free up to April 30th. So WhatsApp us that number. On the comment section, you should be able to see the number as well. Then you should be able to get the access right on our EquitiesTracker platform. So once again, please do share, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Before we go, Ricky, do you have anything to say to our viewers before we end?
OK，在中文组这边呢，我们下个礼拜同样会有一些包括 oil and gas 的地方，我们也有可能我们会找一个 CEO，假如来得及的话，那 Derek 也会跟我们分享关于，因为上个礼拜五我们非常的抱歉，因为这技术上的问题，我没有办法跟大家见面。希望明天晚上我们再跟大家再见。好，谢谢大家。Thank you.
All right. So with that note, everyone out there, thank you very very much for being with us. We hope to see you tomorrow and the rest of the other days, because we will be with you throughout this lockdown period. All right. So this is the best time for you to look for information. And guess what? We are not even charging anything, right? We are here. We are passionate about I mean, for everyone to learn about investing, and that has been always our principle, or our objective, right? And having EquitiesTracker, from our founder himself, from Jim Wong, he wants to create a movement to provide investor education for as many people as possible. So I hope you're going to be with us throughout this period, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thank you very much, and good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Faiz.